Since the Summer Olympics in Paris, people have been saying that Ubisoft's models of Notre Dame, made for Assassin's Creed Unity, could help rebuild the cathedral after it caught fire in 2019. They're wrong. People have been saying this since the fire, and I made a YouTube video debunking it in 2021. But weirdly enough, not everyone in the world has seen it, so let's debunk it again. One of the first outlets to spread this story was NME. Here's what they published in 2019. It's also believed that French publisher Ubisoft still holds the original 3D models and photos which could help with rebuilding the cathedral. Ubisoft is yet to comment on the claims, and a full restoration plan for Notre Dame hasn't been confirmed. Now that doesn't sound very certain, does it? Well, The Guardian saw this, again back in 2019, and actually reached out to Ubisoft for comment. They published Ubisoft's statement. "We are not currently involved in the reconstruction of Notre Dame, but we would be more than happy to lend our expertise in any way that we can to help with these efforts. It is important to keep in mind that what we did for the game was not a scientific reconstruction, but rather an artistic vision." The story about Ubisoft's models being used was further spread by this ArtStation blog post. It's from just last year, but it's still one of the first things that comes up when you Google this topic. And yes, that did scare the shit out of me when I was researching this script. But the author is an artist who doesn't seem to be associated with Ubisoft in any way, and he doesn't provide sources for any of the claims that he makes in the piece, unlike me, who is perhaps providing too many. So, in 2019, Ubisoft was not saying it was working on the restoration. If it were, I believe the company would have rightfully made a huge deal about it, much like it did in this 2019 press release, where it announced that it was donating 500,000 euros to the efforts, as well as making Unity free to play on PC for a week. Now, let's look at what the developers have said about how they designed the cathedral. Senior level artist Caroline Mius is the person widely credited with building AC Unity's Notre Dame. "We were able to find a lot of blueprints showing us exactly how Notre Dame was constructed. Maxime Durand helped me a lot with it because he has the historical background. I have tons of books too. Google was my best friend for a while. You can just find so much stuff on the internet now. It's very difficult to take a big picture of Notre Dame and capture every single detail. You really have to take a bunch of pictures of everything and put them all together like a puzzle." The Notre Dame that appears in the game was altered for the sake of level design and gameplay, and for compliance with copyright, because a lot of the cathedral's most famous elements, like the rose window and the organ, fall under copyright and can't be legally recreated. But even so, it does not sound like Ubisoft made detailed scans of the cathedral to work off of. Mius mentions books, photos, blueprints, Google. You know who did make scans of the cathedral? Hundreds of people who have been studying it for decades. Among them, Cédric Gachot, the CEO of a company called Life 3D, who is scanning the cathedral for restoration work that was ongoing before the fire. In 2019, he told Le Monde, "The people behind Assassin's Creed did an amazing job. But these are graphic artists, very skillful, who work based on photographs and blueprints that they've recovered. They're looking for a coherent visual. We are looking for millimetric precision. We work with engineers, with data analysts." Le Monde also digs up a quote from resident Assassin's Creed historian Maxime Durand, who told La Presse, "The monument we've recreated has a beautiful artistic liberty. I can't say that those who are reconstructing the cathedral will necessarily be interested in our modeling of it." Again, if Ubisoft had been able to donate the game's models to the restoration, they would rightfully be bragging to high heaven about it. But they're not. They're insisting on the game's artistic, creative vision over and over again. According to the French Ministry of Culture, the cathedral's restoration involved 50 research teams and laboratories spread across France and brings together a total of 175 researchers: archaeologists, historians, art historians, anthropologists, physicists, chemists, engineers, computer scientists. To further demonstrate why this work is so different from what Ubisoft did, we can look to the scans done by the late Professor Andrew Tallon of Vassar University. He used a laser scanner to create a point cloud map of the cathedral with a margin of error often fewer than 5 millimeters. That is the kind of data that exists. And honestly, I'm not even sure if Tallon's data was used in the reconstruction, because at the time the cathedral caught fire, it hadn't yet been converted to a usable model. But the point is, people were already doing this work. Professor Dr. Stephen Albrecht is one of the many people involved in the restoration. He and his team had been studying the cathedral for over 20 years. The very year that it caught fire, they had been in the transept doing 3D scans. That data was used in the restoration. Ubisoft didn't do scans like this, because it didn't need to, because the cathedral that appears in the game is an artistic creation that captures what it feels like. It does feel real, it does feel accurate, and that's a huge achievement. We don't need to make up stories about how the video game is so accurate that it could help rebuild Notre Dame. It's a discredit to the artists that made Unity's Notre Dame, erasing the incredible work that they did. And it's a discredit to the scientists who have been studying and maintaining the cathedral all along. Thanks! I'll see you next time I make this video for the 4th or 5th time. Somebody please make up something about Assassin's Creed Syndicate so I can talk about that game too. It's my favorite. Okay, bye.